Stealthy, what you got for us? Legendary drops. Space Marine 2. Oh, thank you. Space Marine 2 is a reminder of what we lost.
If you wait to vote in person on November 5th, you're in for a long, miserable line.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
You don't tell me what to do. You know what's funny? When people advertise things and tell you to do something, isn't it like reverse psychology to rebel against it? Or not reverse psychology. Isn't it just like default for humans to say, no, I don't want to do that because you're telling me to do it? Like, do this now. No. It's like, no, I don't want to.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 oozes with so much masculinity that I feel like I've been in a desert for the last few years.
Oh.
It has themes that nobody wants to go near anymore. For courage and honor, for brotherhood, for the Emperor.
Has he forgotten about Helldivers?
It's so good. It's such a fun game. But the entire time while I was playing it, I couldn't help but shake this feeling of nostalgia. Like the game reminds me of something I've lost, something that we have lost.
Yeah,
you know, I used to play a lot of games. I still play a lot of games, but I used to play a lot more. Games were far more consumable.
Okay, I wouldn't say they were far more consumable in the past. That's just his boomer speaking, but I feel him. I know what he's saying. What he's saying is that games captured a quality, an essence back in the day that when we used to play it, we had a feeling of fulfillment. Like I see like my friends playing these games now and they're just not really having as much fun as they used to. Or even like my little sister or like nieces or nephews playing games. They're having fun, but what do they default to? Roblox and Minecraft, because that's all that's good, because they could use their creative juices and create stuff, you know, because that's what we want to do. We like Legos and stuff. But there's no games like Space Marines or Halo, I don't know, Lion King on Super Nintendo. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, still waiting for
put it down. I could enjoy it for a while. I could play it with my friends, and I could leave it and not feel guilty for doing so. But we've gotten away from that. Yeah. Space Marine 2 is one of those games. I picked it up. I've played it. I've enjoyed it. I've played it with some friends. I plan on playing more of it and doing some of the co-op and the PvE and all that good stuff. But at the exact same time, I'm not committed to it.
Yeah.
I can walk away at any moment.
Yep.
And while you may say that's true for other games, I think that we've lost that feeling. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about my experience playing Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Okay, break it down.
I want to talk about what we've lost.
Yeah.
The middle ground.
Yeah.
I love Space Marine 2. I love it so much that I've now spent hours upon hours watching lore videos from Bricky and Wes Hammer on YouTube. I think the game is so good that, while it's not going to be as widespread, it's going to have a similar impact as Baldur's Gate 3 did on Dungeons & Dragons. A well-crafted, well-delivered experience in a universe that you know little about, that's going to drive you to want to know more about it, to have context behind what you've seen, or to answer questions you have and push you to find more experiences to enjoy. Space Marine 2 is an improvement over its predecessor, but regardless if you've played that game or not, it's a great introduction to the 40K universe.
I agree.
It's grotesque and ugly, yet beautiful and fascinating. It's merging of man and machine, fantasy and reality on a scale that leaves you awestruck. Scale. Now that's a word this game embodies. I cannot tell you how many times I slow walked through areas, panning the camera around, drinking in the scale and brutality of war.
I will tell you that most modern games, I have caught myself doing that. In the past, I would never do that much unless if it was like Halo or something, maybe like a cool open world game. But the graphics nowadays, it's like near artistry. Like, look at that, man. That's a screenshot. That's a whole poster right there. Also, in the time I was gone, you got a wife and kids. Oh, my bad. Well, congrats, brother. I'm happy for you. And yes, the Lion King game. But yeah, the Space Marines 2 did capture an essence of gaming that we gamers, you know, us boomer gamers missed.
The sheer number of enemies, the warring factions in the distance, it made it an experience that could only be described as a meat grinder. Countless waves of Astra Militarum thrown against unrelenting hordes of Tyranids as they fall like disposable distractions, while we Space Marines cut through them like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
So many games want to be big rather than feel big. And Space Marine 2 feels larger than life. The narrative and the atmosphere of this game are immaculate. Saber Interactive have made one of, if not the best, adaptations of Warhammer 40K. The detailing on the battle barge, the ships and weapons, the character adaptations, roles within ranks, how characters interact with one another, the scale of war in the background, the blood, the viscera, the music, and the voice acting, all of it is near perfect. From a visual and audio perspective, I felt like I was in this war and in this universe. I took every chance I could to listen to audio logs or eavesdrop on passing conversations, speeches, and sermons, all of them, because I was starving for the next bit of lore to add to my experience, and I think that's a byproduct of the main cast of characters' performances, or in the case of Space Marine 2, the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Titus and company are not the most talkative bunch, and they shouldn't be. They're Marines. It's all about the mission and killing their enemies and serving the Emperor, not their personal thoughts, opinions, or feelings. Over the last few years, it feels like every modern game and television show or movie, they're all allergic to stoicism. They can't allow characters to be silent.
What happened to that, man? Like, I noticed that everything that I've been watching lately. Actually, let me backtrack. There's a show I have been watching recently that is really, really good that I didn't really think I would like. Have y'all heard of the Penguin? The DC villain Penguin, Batman's bad guy. He has a show, and it is really good. Colin Farrell is the Penguin, and it does not look like Colin Farrell at all. And he's nailing that role. It's so good. It's like I'm watching Sopranos, but it's Gotham City. I'm not saying that there's any type of stoicism or anything like that, but it's like they're doing something different with the entertainment. Like, you know how everyone is throwing all this stuff out there. You have to either be funny, has to be action packed, or there's always got to be something going on every 2 seconds to capture someone's attention. This show doesn't do that. It captures great dialogue, good character development. It tells a story of characters that you may or may not know. It even adds new characters that you don't really know, but they slide it in there in a way to where it's like, hey, I kind of like that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna try to spoil too much, but if you want to watch a really good show right now, The Penguin is good. And they capture one of those, like, there's a lot of silent parts. Like, that's what I was going for. Like, there's a lot of points where the camera would get good angles or capture good angles, and they don't talk for about a good 10 to 15 seconds to soak in the moment, you know? Not too many games or shows do that nowadays, and it's kind of sad to see, you know? It seems like they're getting comfortable with something and, oh, it works, so let's just dish this out because it makes money. And that's why I'm proud of Space Marine. It's a good game. They didn't really care about the whatever agenda that's going on. They just made a good game. Only heard good things about it, but you haven't checked it out. It's good. You should check it out. Penguin is really good. Yeah, it's perfect. Like, I'm hooked every single Sunday. Me and my bros are like, yo, Penguin, y'all ready? One thing that you noticed that died or is in the process of dying. Do y'all remember anyone saying Skibbity recently? Come on, bro. Skibbity. I just said it. You just said it. Oh, Skibbity Toilet isn't dead, though. The kids are keeping that alive. That dude is still posting Skibbity Toilet videos, and he's getting well over 23 to 30 million per short in video. So he's good. But as all trends do, they always die. Phrases are popular until people use it out, play it out, and it's done. Like Riz, people still say the word Riz, but it's a goofy word. You wouldn't catch me say that on public. Like, yo, bro, you see, he just rizzed her up, bro. Like, it's so dumb, bro. So stupid. Oh, he got the riz. How about he has charisma? There you go. Penguin, no Zo. Oh, yeah, Zero. You be watching Dragon Ball Daima. Yo, Daima is actually not bad. I saw one episode and I need to watch more. I also backtracked on Dragon Ball as well. But we're getting off topic. I tend to do that often. Space Marine 2.
Need a character to be complicated. Movie. They're all allergic to stoicism. They can't allow characters to be silent. They need a character to be complicated, to have feelings, and to need to talk about those feelings because they don't know how to tell a great story without words. I can't help but feel if this game came out from a major AAA studio, Titus would have multiple monologues in front of a mirror backed by a licensed My Chemical Romance soundtrack. Brother Gadriel would be the comic relief, and Chiron would be the true villain all along, but don't worry, he's not that bad. He's just fighting the system that separated him and his sister because they wouldn't allow her to carry out her dream of being a space marine, and now he's vowed to tear down the system. Cut to a scene of him dying in Titus's arms in the rain, Titus crying out, wishing the world was different.
He basically broke down every single quadruple A game that's out right now. No offense, I love Star Wars, but Survivor did that, and I'm so sad. Well, excuse me, princess. If you know, you know. Yeah.
That's one of the first things that I noticed when I started playing this game is that it was simple characters, simple story. Even in cutscenes, there really wasn't a lot of dialogue. There was no long, drawn-out exposition or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the scenes where characters were showing some doubts or suspicions of Titus, it was all drowned out almost immediately. Because think about it. Thoughts, opinions, feelings, this stuff is heresy.
Yeah.
These are space marines. Any humanity they have is buried under 2,000 pounds of armor, genetic enhancements and manipulation, body enhancements, and, well, faith in the Emperor.
Yep.
Over the last few years, games have really dove into this idea of telling simple stories through complex characters. There's no such thing as just a regular villain anymore. All of them are a victim of circumstance more than anything else. They have tragic backstories that we need to feel and we need to empathize over. Rather.
Okay. Wait. Sometimes that is good. For example, where are my Naruto enjoyers at? Bro, there's so much trauma in that show. So many people died. Even the bad guys had terrible backstories. And then when you figure out their backstory, it's like, dang, I kind of do feel sorry for you. But you know what? Nah, you still killed like a whole village, so never mind. But it's like being able to have that choice. What I think he's trying to say though is they're forcing you to like they write the script in a way where they force you to like the bad guy after they die, rather than giving you a choice to be like, oh, maybe he was good or maybe he was bad, and you could choose to like him or not. But most of the scripts are written in a way to where they force you to like everybody. Everybody's a likable character. There's no bad guys here, and it's like, come on, this you be real. Yeah, I like the choices of good or bad, and I like that you could choose whether or not the guy is good or bad. Don't force us to be like, oh, this, but he may be bad, but he went through this, so you gotta accept him. It's like, get out of here.
Rather than just being a bad guy, empathize over, rather than just being a bad guy and good guys being good guys. Though, to be honest, in Warhammer, I mean, everybody's kind of an asshole, so it doesn't really matter that much. But it's just gotten to the point now where they think that they're trying to do something theatric, but in the end, all they're doing is giving stories that are uninspired and completely predictable. They're doing the same as everybody else is doing. Space Marine 2 is a game of few words, as it should be.
Yeah. And
it feels damn fun to play. I love making reviews like this because it gives me the opportunity to help my viewers get to know me a little bit better. So I'm going to let you guys in on a secret.
Hey.
I love third-person shooters. I love the perspective, the aiming, the way it makes melee combat look and feel. I have thousands of hours across the entire Gears of War franchise, especially Gears of War 1.
That's a good one.
Canals and Mansion were my MLG level slaughterhouse. Space Marine 2 takes me back to those days. The chaos of the overwhelming enemy numbers, the gore on screen at every moment, the slow and methodical movement and firing make you feel like you're a bipedal tank. Firing weapons, using grenades, jumping in the air and slamming down on enemies, it all felt incredible.
And satisfying. But you said Z Broly is a good guy? No. Flair, you have to realize, some people are just written to be bad guys. Z Broly was written to be a bad guy. Like, he's just, there's no excuse for Z Broly. He may be a D1 crash out and no one understands him like you say, but no, he was angry since the birth. What did he say when he saw Kakarot? He's like, Kakarot, I've hated you since birth and you fueled my rage. I'm like, yo. He's like, he hated crying babies since birth. Terrible man. No. Super Broly, on the other hand. This game is a big example of what happens when you focus on gaming instead of pushing agendas. Exactly, man. Like, I stress this, and I hope one day that if I do become big and famous, that this goes viral. I stress to keep politics out of video games because it's unnecessary. We didn't ask for that. We want to have fun. We played a game to escape real life, not to include it. Life already sucks. Play game for make better life.
felt incredible. I still remember the wave of third-person shooters back in the late and early 2000s when it was a fad for developers, but it was a fad because players loved it. And I think the reason why we loved it so much is just because we could see that much more. First-person perspectives are restrictive, limited, and tunnel-visioned. In third person, you can take in all of your surroundings, react to what's happening next to you or behind you, drink in the immensity of the game, all the while playing it more tactically. In games like Space Marine 2 or Gears of War, I feel like I'm playing chess with a mobile wood chipper. I'm shooting an enemy, I'm pushing forward, I'm going to execute this one, turn around, throw a grenade over here, switch my weapons, use melee on this group, switch back to melee, pick up that ammo over there, and then move to the final group. Every combat scenario feels like a dance of death and carnage as I carve my way through every enemy encounter and reach my goal. My only real criticism of the game is that the dodge and parry mechanics, as well as ally NPC AI, seem to completely interrupt that flow. While I understood the goal that they were going for, the combat always felt a bit foreign. I really enjoyed parrying small enemies that were about to jump on me. It was really satisfying to see me kill them, but some markers would show while others wouldn't. And since there isn't any animation canceling on higher difficulties, any mistakes that you make are punished heavily. Accidentally parrying when you need to dodge, even if there's enough time for you to be able to react to your mistake before the enemy's attack resolves, you won't be able to because you're still in the animation of parrying or using a melee. This would
True. Yeah. That's what she said. What did she say? What if I'm big and dangerous? What if you are, Flair? Are you saying you're Blowly? IGN criticism of this game is probably lack of DEI. Probably. I don't know. People are just scared of good stuff nowadays, man. It's weird. Once someone sees something good, they instantly have to threaten it. I don't understand. For example, Caitlin Clark. What is the criticism there? Another one. Wukong. Why is there any criticism for Wukong? A good game. Like, bruh.
You won't be able to because you're still in the animation of parrying or using a melee. This wouldn't be as taxing if the ally NPC AI was moderately helpful, but I always find them shooting at enemies that haven't even hit the battlefield yet. They're completely useless when you're defending objectives. They stand still after they stun an enemy, and ultimately they serve as no distraction or help when you're being attacked by vast waves of enemies. I say I know what they were going for here because, one, you're a space marine, not an acrobat, and two, the game is obviously tuned for multiplayer and not single player. Once you have one or two friends in the group, the game transforms. The pace evens out. Any major issues that you have seem to disappear immediately. I'm reminded of the times back from 2004 to 2010 where you would go out to buy games specifically just to play with friends. Army of Two, Kane and Lynch, Halo, Gears of War, Resident Evil 5, The Club. These social co-op experiences that are best enjoyed either on the couch or online with friends or coworkers. I had my friend hop in and play. We haven't played a game like this in a really long time, and it was like nothing changed. We bantered back and forth, making fun of one another, broing out over cutscenes, communicating strategies, and
you know what actually makes me feel that way right now, which surprisingly, I'm very surprised to say this. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, man. It is really good. Normally I'm not much of a COD fan because, I'm a fan of Black Ops. I take that back. Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, owned them. Didn't get 5 or whichever one that was. But I do have 6 now. I did not like Modern Warfare Remastered, Modern Warfare 2. That Warzone era, just trash. But when Black Ops 6 came out, bro, I had so much fun. Like, trying to find exploits or just running through zombies, making exploits, or just playing multiplayer with friends, hardcore. It just feels like a good game. The hot mics and everything, people could just turn on push to talk and trash talk all game. It's funny, and then you could grab people from the back and you're like like that's actually funny. I know it gets old after a while, but grabbing a camper that's sniping from the back and saying, "I got you now, boy." it's hilarious, it's funny. It just brings a joy back into my heart that I missed about gaming. Forget the COD banner. What you mean? Remember IGN gave Hulk a 9, Sparking Zero a 7, and Penguin a 5. Yeah, I remember that. Sparking Zero should have at least an 8. Hulk, no, that's definitely a 6. Penguin is a 10. Because good equals bad and that is good, because if good is bad, then bad good, but also if bad is good, then good is bad, so bad is cool and good is not. So if bad is cool and good is not, then bad is cool and is better. Yes, that. Black Ops and COD might as well be different games entirely. Yeah, they are.
Jokingly making fun of one another, broing out over cutscenes, communicating strategies, and jokingly role-playing as we cut through waves of enemies. This is one of the reasons why I believe Helldivers 2 blew up when it did, because so many games are competitive now. Hell, almost all of media is so polarized and oppositional that you can't even escape it in the first place. And
I want to touch on that too. Another about the competitive thing, bro. I'm just like out here making random videos and stuff, enjoying myself as a YouTuber, as a content creator, making clips. But there's someone always out there that's like, well, I'm going to be better than this guy. I'm like, why are you trying to compete with me, bro? I'm just making videos because it's fun. Everyone is always trying to compare PP sizes, and it's so annoying. And that's one of the reasons why I backed off from Sparking Zero Rank, because everyone is trying to prove themselves. I'm like, there's nothing to prove here. How about you prove to yourself or the world to be a good person? How about that? Because apparently that's so hard nowadays. Kindness, it ain't easy. Be a good guy.
As such, I think it's starting to begin this growing hunger within players and within consumers where they want things that are a little bit more leaning into the side of community and camaraderie more than anything else, because you're not really finding that anywhere else. I think this is by and large in part due to AAA's push into live service. They all want to make their money printing machine, and we all know that competitive games seem to be the best at doing that. But with that said, I just really haven't seen a lot of games that have done anything like this over the last few years, and more games are getting away from this cooperative nature and cooperative play.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
sad.
think about it. Halo 5 and Halo Infinite didn't even have couch co-op or split screen. Halo.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Mind you, that's 343, and that's a whole other problem in and of itself. But with that said, Space Marine 2 just feels like a pure video game. Unpolluted. There's no drawn out exposition. It's not trying to put me on long grinds or chases or anything like that. It's just calling back to something that I think that we've lost and we haven't had for a long time. And it's just good, dumb fun.
Yeah.
That's it. Space Marine 2 isn't trying to do anything that hasn't been done. It's just a simple and fun video game.
Exactly.
Well, there are definitely some examples in recent memory. I can't help but shake the feeling that we just don't get a whole lot of games like this anymore.
That's why Concord failed. Because we want to have mindless fun, not this pushed agenda or just everything is forced. You're just trying to force us to have fun. Like, no, if it's fun, it's fun. If it's bad, it's bad. And if it's bad, take accountability and make something better. Simple. Don't cry about it. Don't be like, oh, you're racist. You don't like black people. You don't like white people. You don't like Mexicans. No, it's not that. You don't like women. No, it's bad. It's bad. Just accept it. It's terrible. Like me with my YouTube videos, bro, there was a certain time and place where I was like, if I'm not getting views, it's bad. I just got to get better. Content creators also got to realize that sometimes it may be good, but most of the times you're not that good. Just get good. Takes time. It's going to be a slow grind. Slow growth is better than no growth. You just got to remember that. You know, a professional Smash player, he tells me it's bad. Yeah, see, that's just how Super Smash or fighting games is. The fighting game community, I was gonna say FGC, but the fighting game community is pretty toxic sometimes. But it can be a really cool, wholesome place sometimes. You know, you never know. Yeah, Concord failed because Sony is stupid and selfish. Yeah, pros probably got it worse, 100%.
Sure, in memory, I can't help but shake the feeling that we just don't get a whole lot of games like this anymore.
No.
Sure, part of it's likely due to the industry's overwhelming push into live service, a trend that I think is being bucked by the most successful games over the past few years, but it's been a long time since I've played a game that felt so consumable.
Yeah,
a
there
game
you go.
that once I
That's
started playing it, I never once thought of whether or not I'd actually have the time to finish it, how long it would take me to finish, if I would fall behind in content or forget mechanics if I walked away from it.
Yeah.
It's just simple, dumb fun with no strings attached. I remember back in the old 360 days of achievement hunting, how most games, AAA or not, were fun, memorable, and easy to consume. Def Jam Fight for New York, Burnout, Need for Speed Most Wanted, King Kong, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, The Darkness, Army of Two, Brutal Legend. None of these games were king of that era.
Dang,
but
those were
they were the
classics.
supporting cast that made gaming feel so damn worthwhile at the time.
Exactly. Like, you don't have to be the best to be good. Let me break that down again. Let me say that one more time. You don't have to be the best to be good or successful. I don't know who needs to hear that, bro. But everybody thinks that you got to be the greatest thing out there so everyone can consume it. It's like, no, sometimes there's diamonds in the rough that are still it still has a lot of quality, but it's not famous, or it doesn't have a lot of eyes on it. But there is a small, community that supports it, and it's a good chunk that helps them be successful. Yeah, basically Overwatch, but worse. Yeah, that's what Concord is. But also that applies to Overwatch as well. When Overwatch started, Overwatch was a great game, man. Like, it felt like this. When I loaded into Overwatch, I was like, oh, MOBA FPS, this is a first. And all the characters just had life. The game was like colorful, vibrant. You had healers, you had classes. You have to work as a team to win. And that's what was fun. When I was with my boys, when we were playing Overwatch, bro, we played all day when it first released on the Xbox. I'll never forget that day. My first character I tried was Zenyatta, and then I started using Genji because I liked him more. It's just classic times that you can't replicate, Gaming is like, it's losing its way because all the overseers and the CEOs are the decision makers. They're like, we have to make money. Don't make fun game. We got to make what works because this is what gets us paid. But this is why there's indie companies, because game devs leave Bungie, 343, EA, BioWare, and make their own super duper conglomerate of gamers.
Yeah, there were still our fair share of garbage games. There were so many middle industry titles of little critical renown that were worth your money and didn't make you feel like every single game that you needed to buy was the game.
Exactly.
Sometimes it was good just to play a game. Yeah. One of my fondest memories back then was this little known game called 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, where you played as 50 Cent in the G Unit. You played a concert in the Middle East where you were promised a $10 million diamond encrusted skull upon completion. Some gang members steal it, and now you and the G Unit are on a mission to go get what's yours. It was a stupid, funny third-person shooter that had no right being as fun as it was. Yeah. It adapted mechanics from the club.
I remember
bonus objectives would randomly pop up, like blow up barrels or get X amount of headshots or only use pistols, making you and your friend race to see who can achieve the goal first and rack up a higher score at the end of the run.
Yep. And also another thing, back in not back in my day, but you could still do this. But when I was buying games, physical games, actually, I should take that back. Back in the times when physical games were purchasable and we could buy them at we could buy it at Walmart. We could buy it at GameStop with no problem, and it's just walls full of used games and CDs that are ready to be bought. You could go through the whole entire library, look at all of these games, and there's times where I'll have like a stack of games, but I only have like 30 or 40 bucks, and sometimes you could buy 3 or 4 games because some are like $5, $10, or you could get that one good game that that would last you a long time. But where I'm going with this is, you could buy these used games, play it for a week, and return it. You're not supposed to do that, but I would go to a different GameStop, return it, get another game, and then just keep the cycle going. And it was just so much fun. And I used to do that with all these games. And man, I don't feel the need to do that no more, because games, one, first of all, they're not physical. And two, games they're not as good anymore. It's like my expectations are so low that I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be good. I'm not going to be prepared for this or hyped for it because it might be bad. And when I play it, I'm going to be like, oh, I just wasted $70. And that's another thing. $70 is too high of a price point for a game to be trash like Concord. I mean, Concord was $40, but still, Concord probably should have been free in the first place. No, this is Patrick. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this game was underrated, or Overwatch. Yeah, CDs in 2024. I just said that. What is a compact disc? Oh, sorry. A CD is a compact disc with data. that only stores up to 128 megabytes.
Again, to see who can achieve the goal first and rack up a higher score at the end of the run. Again, it was just dumb fun. It didn't feel like a game that was being made by a studio that had everything riding on the line. And it came from a time where, as a player, I didn't feel like everything was riding on every purchase that I made. Yep. And I think that's one of the problems that we have today. That feeling of finality with every purchase. The sense that every single game has to be the one.
I will be honest, though. I know I keep pausing it, but this is like one of the subjects I really like to talk about for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm just really interested in the way, like, how the industry works and why people are stupid and why people make stupid decisions when we already had the perfect formula in the past and you just got to expand on it. Well, anyways, I digress on that. But it's just, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but it's just, I'm just sad that, you know, gaming is just not the way it used to be. But I'm happy that we have games like Space Marine, Helldivers. Unfortunately, Sony ruined Helldivers, but Black Ops 6, proud of it, honestly. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd. Relax, kid. I'm an athletic nerd. I'll dunk on you and then tell you the square root of pi.
And it comes from a shift in both the industry's approach and our view of what games are today. This constant pressure that every game needs to be a massive hit, to have endless updates, to have something that demands long-term commitment, and it's led to this feeling. Developers now treat games like services, and players have been conditioned to believe that every purchase is an investment, rather than just a chance to have fun.
Yeah,
it's exhausting.
It is.
Somewhere along the way, we lost the middle ground. Those mid-tier games that weren't trying to be the biggest thing in gaming, but were good, fulfilling experiences that were worth our money.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say now because I lost my train of thought, and the last time I paused it, I was going to say that most of us gamers also ruined it for ourselves as well. Because there was a lot of boomers in the time that would complain about stuff. It's like, it should have better graphics. I don't care about gameplay or the story. I just want it to look good. We have all this hardware, and what are we wasting all this hardware on? It's like, really, man? Really? Could we just have a fun game? That's it. Helldivers is on a comeback. Sony needs to quit being greedy. Yeah, they need to.
We need to get back to a time where we could simply play a game. We could buy it, play it, and walk away from it feeling satisfied.
Break it down,
Not every purchase should feel like a commitment for life. Sometimes it's good to just enjoy something for what it is, no strings attached.
Yep.
And, you know, from my perspective, Space Marine 2 is one of those games. I played it. I enjoyed it. I'm going to go back and play more with some friends, do some of the PvE and PvE content and stuff like that. But outside of that, I don't feel like I'm committed to this game. I don't feel like I'm locked down or married to it in any way. And I think that feeling is coming from the industry itself. I feel like the players, the consumers, can feel the pressure that these studios are exuding on their employees and exuding on these games. And it's because of their mismanagement of money. They're not investing the right way. They're putting way too much into one boat. And if that boat sinks, well, then the studio's done.
Exactly. That's another thing. They got to learn from that. And you're right. Sony needs to remaster Bloodborne. What are they doing? If Sony wants money, if they remaster Bloodborne, that's an easy 5 million plus profit right there. I guarantee you, man. Guarantee. I don't understand why they don't want to give all these okay, I guess you could say I'm a Bloodborne fan now, but kind of a newbie, because there's people who've been fans since the PS3 Bloodborne, and it's like, you should treat them. They've been with you since PS3. They're ride or dies. Come on, man. But y'all gonna waste your money on Concord? What, $300 million budget? That's insane. Man, it's too lit. Stan alert. You wanna listen to James? Oh god. Oh no. Tell this nerd unk on my screen to be quiet and play the game. Hey. After this, I will.
And it shouldn't be that way. You know, I've seen a lot of people talking about game prices and how they need to go up again, talking about $100 and things like that. $70 is a lot of money. Yeah. And I think that's also on the side of the players. We feel the pressure because we're spending so much money on these games in the first place, but there's no flexibility there. I'm on the side asking for more flexibility. It's one of the reasons why I mostly buy indie and AA and single A games, is because there's a lot of price flexibility there.
See, me and this guy, we're like-minded.
More times than not, I ended up getting a way better deal for the money that I spent. I spent like $15 on Core Keepers. I put like over 100 hours into it. I think I spent $5 on Terraria at one point. I have like 1,200 hours in that.
Terraria is a good game, though.
I want to see more flexibility in experiences and in prices. We just don't seem to have that as much as we used to.
Hey, this is legendary. I
desperately want to go back to the days of junk food games, where even from some of these AAA studios, they would put out games that would be more like middle tier releases than anything else. And Space Marine 2 kind of feels like that. Don't take any offense to this. I know some people are going to be up in arms about it, but this doesn't feel like a Game of the Year candidate because it's not doing anything extravagant or incredible or different than anybody else.
It's just
other
a good
than the
game.
fact that it's using themes that apparently people are allergic to nowadays.
Relax.
But with that said, it's just a good game. It's just a damn good game, and that's it. And it's worth the money. I'm sick and tired of games that are coming out that feel like they need to be the game, that need to send a message, that need to change our minds, that need to tell these extravagant stories and do something that nobody's ever done before. Really? Well, I do think there's a place for those games, and I still want to see those games. The problem is that almost every single game feels like it wants to be that game now. And there's just not enough room for it. It's sad. Or creativity, for that matter.
Exactly what I said, but
I'm looking at you. You know who you are.
Not me. What are you talking about?
Sorry. Should have said that. Anyway, that's all I have for the video. I want more games like Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
I want more junk food, and I'm not afraid to say it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, cool. I like it, bro. That's actually all facts, man. Everything he said is a nail in the coffin and a nail in the head. It's sad to see where gaming is going and the direction. Also, it's just the entertainment industry in a whole. You know, people are just, they want money. And when your mind is on the money, you're gonna lose sight of the creative process. And I'm not gonna lie, I've actually, I've lived over many years of my life, many decades, and I have some experience when it comes to not greediness, but just putting money first. And most of the times, whenever I put money first, I would always end up last. Like, it didn't matter if I had all the money in the world. Like, you're just gonna be lonely, bro. Like, you could have all the money in the world, and if you have no one else to spend it with, you're just gonna be like, okay, I guess I got millions of dollars, and I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs here in this chair in a big old mansion with a 50-inch screen TV. I got my whiskey on the rocks over there, my nice little fireplace. I got my nice little maid abuela cleaning up my house. She's really nice, but she has a nice family. It just sounds like a very depressing life, honestly. What? Less passion is money. Help! You know what I'm saying? Well, the thing is, when you only focus on the money, you know what I mean? Like, money is necessary. Don't get me wrong. People misconstrue my words a lot. They're like, oh, so you don't worry about money at all? No. You need money to survive. That's common sense. What I'm saying is there's other things to be focusing on, like family, friends, food. If you have pets, your animals, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I mean? Because if you don't have your friends with you or your family with you, when you have all that money in the world, like, what's the point? That's how I feel like. Just gotta get your priorities straight, man. I mean, you could use money as a motivation. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be a motivator. Don't fall in love with it. You know what I'm saying? There's other things that you need. And that's Man Tulits, 34 years of experience. You're welcome.